Hi, my name is Sabrina, and you are listening to the Stylish and Sustainable podcast. In this week's episode, I'll be introducing our theme for 2020, the idea that our health and the planet's health are intricately connected. By the end of this episode, you'll be able to understand how living a truly healthy life has to be built on sustainable actions, and how a successfully sustainable life has to be healthful to have long-term success. For the best healthy and sustainable living advice, be sure to subscribe if you're listening on iTunes and follow if you're listening on Spotify. Without any further ado, let's dive in. So today we're talking all about how personal health equals planetary health. And that's really because this is an introduction to this year's primary goal, which for me is to start providing women with sustainable paths to wellness in very concrete ways. And that's manifesting itself, of course, here on the podcast, in the monthly newsletter, which is amazing. By the way, you should sign up through one-on-one health coaching with me that gals can sign up for free consultations, and then my 6-month program, and of course, the free content on the YouTube channel and Instagram account. And I started using my education as a yoga instructor, aromatherapist, certified meditation coach, and nutritional coach to talk about wellness in the context of sustainability, because I am so committed to sustainable living, and I am equally committed to providing women with the education and the inspiration and an advocate in their daily life to really live truly healthy, slow lives. I think that it's really important to understand, before we even dive into health, before we even dive into sustainable living, why they're so very uniquely tied. And I want to approach that from two different angles. First, why a truly healthy life needs to be environmentally sustainable, and why a truly sustainable life needs to be rooted in health and wellness. So first, let's dive into why a truly healthy life needs to be environmentally sustainable. Well, I think the first thing that's really important to understand is that health, in my eyes, it's not a fad. It doesn't depend on what decade you're in. It's eating whole foods, feeling confident and radiant, feeling mentally resilient, and knowing what you truly need and what you want, and then having the power to make thoughtful decisions about your health and your body's overall ability to heal itself. That's what health is to me. And a lot of fad diets, like cleanses or diets that depend on packaged foods, or diets that are really restrictive, or lifestyles that are sedentary or just way too fast, are considered the norm today. And somehow some of them are also held as healthy. But I think not only are these unhealthy, they are unsustainable, both usually for the person that's experiencing them, especially when it comes to restrictive dieting or diets that are really focused on eating packaged foods, and they're unsustainable for the planet. And so what I've seen is that the closer that we can get to the dirt, like literally to the planet, to the earth itself, and fresh air, and of course to our inner self, the better we are going to feel. And we have to take a bio-individual approach to health that mimics the individuality and the fluidity that we see in nature. And this is because we are nature. But somehow, I don't know, but we've lost that connection, that realization that we are an extension of nature. And if we can learn to lean into that again, that kind of holistic, fluid, honest, and really reflective living, instead of just this one size fits all health model that is really packaged and industrialized, just like our dysfunctional modern life. I think if we lean away from that and we lean into fluid, adaptive, whole health, we can really find sustainable health. So that answers really for me why I believe a truly healthy life needs to be environmentally sustainable, because, and we're going to dive into this later as we have really fantastic discussions with different guests and as I reflect on the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. But so often doing the healthy thing is also doing the sustainable thing. Eating whole foods is healthy. It also is less packaging and less draw and processing and the smaller environmental footprint. eating vegan is more healthy or vegetarian primarily is more healthy and it's a smaller environmental footprint. Eating organic is healthier for you and it's a smaller environmental footprint. And there are so many of those examples. I could literally go on for an hour, but for everyone's sake, I'm just going to stop. So the next thing I want to address is why a truly sustainable life has to be healthful. So I think the best way to understand this is just in the context of my personal story. So when Coop and I, my partner and I, first started to make really big strides towards living sustainably, we burnt out pretty quickly because quite frankly, we were going broke and we were constantly stressed by the decisions we were making and how much extra work it was all at once. And once we started making more food from scratch, instead of like having to pay for the organic option of sauces and artisan breads, and we switched to just eating really a shit ton of whole vegetables seasoned with like plant fats and yummy spices, we suddenly felt like we could both handle some of the stuff that had been more challenging and some of the stuff that we were being confronted with as we were trying to live more sustainably and reduce our waste stream. So being vegan is great, but if you're living off of packaged vegan foods, you're not accomplishing what you think because all that packaging and processing has a huge environmental footprint, and you're probably not getting the true nutrients that you need because your food is so highly processed. Being a whole food vegan, that's pretty badass, but I think it's really important to listen to your body and nourish yourself in a way that is respectful of the planet and your body at the same time. And I think if we're trying to live this sustainable life and so many people dive in and get overwhelmed and they make these huge life changes and then you're eating shit or you're going too fast, you're not making time for self-care or to slow down or being intentional, then you're going to burn out and you're not going to be successful making those changes long term because you haven't helped your health to be the foundation of these decisions that you're making. So that's pretty much it. That is my explanation for why I believe that personal health and planetary health are crazy interlinked, and that is going to be where we're leaning into for the remainder of 2020. Of course, there will still be discussion on the new blog that will come out every Friday about consumption. We'll be talking about our consumption habits on the podcast here occasionally, the Instagram, but I really am excited to be focusing on wellness in the context of sustainability. We'll be having some fantastic speakers, and I'm so excited about what the year has to bring. If you're interested in living more sustainably, be sure to check out my YouTube video about eating, prepping, and sourcing kale sustainably. That's last week's YouTube video. It's great. The YouTube channel is slowly blooming. It's brand new. So go check it out and be sure to subscribe. If you like this episode, please be sure to follow if you're listening on Spotify and subscribe if you're listening on iTunes. And also be a pal and leave a review. Let me know what you think. Also, let me know what you need and want to learn. I read our reviews. I want to make episodes that are helpful to you. So just give me a heads up what you want to learn. You can get a free downloadable sustainable health map and a quick coaching video on establishing your health goals at the link in the show notes. Be sure to check that out. It's a super fun exercise that will help you to get clear on your goals and create that strong foundation so you can continue to rock that sustainable lifestyle. Also, tune into that Stylish and Sustainable Instagram account this Friday at 4:30. I'll be teaching a Live Natural Solutions class. That's Friday, January 31st, 2020 for folks listening in the future. But always keep an eye out. I almost always teach at least one live natural solutions class a month on Instagram. But this one is Friday, January 31st at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. I will be teaching a natural solutions class using my aromatherapy knowledge to provide some education and just to get you actionable steps to achieving a healthier, less toxic life. Also, if you're ready to embrace wellness, I would love to chat with you one-on-one. You can book a free health consultation with me on my website, livestylishandsustainable.com, or the link in the show notes, and talk to me for an hour one-on-one about your dreams and health goals. Seriously, one-on-one. It's so fun. I have loved getting to chat with the listeners, to get to know you, to hear about your health goals, and to work with you and think about what we can do to support you to achieve those goals as you're moving forward. Thanks, you guys. See you next week. Sending good vibes.